Fest, which drew in these underground churches and these punk rockers from Germany and France and England all together, and to hundreds of people to teach people how God is destroying these barriers between God and man, how he's tearing down these walls between Christians and non-Christians, because all would come to the conference to hear this great music and these great Christian bands, and then he'd do workshops and he'd teach, and they'd see God. And you know, I'll tell you the truth, Rob's not the most dynamic speaker in the world. He's got a little bit of a speech impediment because of his deafness, but when he speaks, people listen, because no one is more genuine and more real. He oozes Jesus. They see God in him. Weak, foolish, afraid. Yeah, all the above. If God could use Rob, couldn't he use you? If he could use me, couldn't he use you? Here's how he puts it. Brothers, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Maybe you don't have a PhD. Hey, guess what? Me neither. Not many were influential. Maybe the most popular. Not many were of noble birth. Your last name wasn't Trump or Bush or, something like that. But God chose you, the foolish things of the world, to shame the wise. He chose me. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. He chose the lowly things of this world, and the despised things even, and the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. This is an encouraging word, guys. He's putting his hand upon you, and he's saying, I am choosing you now to fulfill my destiny, my dream that I have had for you since when I created you, before you even born, the things I destined for you to do. Even the weaknesses you have are gifts, according to God. Well, you might be a person that, loves to have people over. You may be an extrovert, loves to have lots of friends and chat and whatever. Maybe God's calling you to do stuff that, have people in your home. You have the gift of hospitality and to have fun and have people over. And like a friend of mine who started a house church, only they don't call it a house church because then the people didn't like to come whenever they said the word church, so they just do everything they would do. They just say, let's come hang out at my house. And God just is touching so many people, and that he brings from work and from his neighborhood, and they're just touching his lives because they're being their best friends. They're everybody's best friend. Maybe that's you. Or maybe you're the other kind of person. You're kind of like me. It doesn't really like to have people over, let's be honest. Maybe you're kind of more introverted, more shy or whatever. You have to find, there's something inside of you that you love. What is it you love to do? Maybe it's play sports. Maybe it's watch sports. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's mechanics or building or playing video games, watching movies, using computers. Guess what? God can use all that stuff in the kingdom of God. Because as big a nerd as you are into that stuff, there's somebody out there who's just as big a nerd. God's been using me I'm hoping to open up my Frisbee golf ministry. I just started getting, like a fanatic into Frisbee golf, which most of you don't even know it exists. That's how nerdy it is. It's like golf when you throw Frisbees to get least amount of throws into this basket thing. Look it up on the internet. But I'm starting to meet people, non-Christian people, and that's what they love to do. And I was like, man, I love to do this too. Will you play with me? It's like I'm an adult. What am I? You play with me? Let's go play, because this is what I love to do. But what a great open door of relationship. Because I'm not going to be the person that goes up to 20 people and like, hey, let's do a bunch of stuff. I'm one-on-one, That's me. Maybe that's you. However you are, God will use who you are. He's made you that way. It's okay. That's not a down thing. However he's created you, he'll use you. If you're into playing music or playing the radio, whatever it is that you do it for him. And if you'll just make it your goal today, say, God, would you use me? I thought I was disqualified, but you are calling me. You have qualified me. You're working in me. God, would you reveal to me who, where, when, how? And as we engage in that process, faith is a journey. Did you know that? It's not like you pray the prayer and you got it. Boom, that's it. No, it's this incredible journey and adventure. And it's not a guilt trip. And it's a shame if we live in it, faith, like it's a guilt trip. I'm not good enough. Yes, you are. God in you is good enough. You can accomplish anything with God on your side, just like Rob. Take you from Staples to London, England.